Peace and salutations. My name is Michael J. Turner. You are shining with the Arizona sun. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being here, which is wherever you're at. This is StereoPHX 888. I can't save you. I can only share with you how I'm saving myself. This video is meant for those who are, those who can't say they have it all together. Those who struggle with themselves. This video is meant to be an upgrade to you, because that's my superpower. So these are things that I've uncovered for myself based on being at a low vibration and experiencing some of the lower versions of me, things I've put together, and things I'm learning as I go. So thank you for being you. This is meant to be an aid for you, but I can only share with you how I'm saving myself. So this idea right here, as we jump this off, let me jump this off right quick. We play to win, right? Well, that would be what you would assume, but the thing is the intention can be, depending on how our perception is, to play the game to win, but I'm only in a game versus myself. So if we're in a game, the idea would be to win. However, based on what in my experience, like, this is me speaking for myself at all times, you know, the things that I would do, it's like I was being led down a different path without knowing it, subconsciously, right? Subconsciously, through this reality that, and my idea that the physicality was the extent of things, right? And that I was not influenced or affected by my environment and everything that I was taking in as far as media, pop culture, and just all my experiences. So, without knowing that, and without thinking, every move adds up. Before I move on to the next word there, which is in green. Green for go. Every move adds up. Everything is significant. I'm not talking about just the big things and then the rest of the day is spent sat watching TV or whatever. I mean, literally, everything is significant. This is what I'm trying to get at. Everything is significant. Everything is significant. Because, you know why? I am that. I am. I am that I am. Alright. Every move adds up to frequency, so as I'm doing my own reflections, I'm seeing that, and I'm overwhelmed to a certain extent about everything at this point in my life, about which way to go and everything that's on me as far as, like, energetically, emotionally, spiritually. I realize that I have to keep creating. I have to keep adding on to this reality and working to lift up other people's states of consciousness and contributing. It's about what I do, and is it based in love and self-care, and what's my intention behind it, right? So everything I do does these three things. This is just my reflection from today. And it's almost obvious, right? You could do these things not consciously being aware of them, as I was in my early 20s, and still thinking that what I was doing was going to add up to the reality that I desired. but I didn't necessarily have any particular desired reality at that point. But what I did do was things that constantly compromised my self-worth without knowing it. Because I accepted certain things and certain beliefs and ideas as acceptable, or that that's the way it was, or that I didn't have an understanding about them, about how they affected my reflection. Right? So, every move, without awareness of these things, I had no idea how they were adding up, because every move adds up to frequency. Everything. Emotionally, thought-wise, all these things, right? Let's not even talk about manifestation yet. Let's just talk about how you could, if you want to measure a person's style, characteristics, persona, all these things, you would almost want to be a fly on the wall, but also want to be in their head. And the idea is, if all that, let's just put style with frequency, or persona with frequency, same thing, right? Your frequency that you carry ongoing throughout the day, continuously, day and night. Okay? Which is almost interchangeable. Frequency and self-worth are almost interchangeable. Like, I couldn't comprehend this concept, but when I was younger, I didn't understand or consider that the things I was doing were reflecting a low self-worth, or the choices I would make, rather, and the things that I would compensate for in ways that didn't need to be, or the things I would accept. So it doesn't even have to be about self-care, but that's part of it as well. It all reflects a high self-worth. So now I know, once again, sharing with you how I'm saving myself, now I understand that self-care and self-love are building blocks to high self-worth. And then we can move to choices, decisions, and intentions, to build with that. But at the simultaneously, every move and my self-worth, how I project that into this reality, is checked by universal law, which is something that I had no idea was the actuality of how things operate in this reality, right? But to know that now, I'm going to be studying them more and more as I go, and putting that information out there as well. But so going forward, like, having a high self-worth is going to coincide. It's going to give me the with this understanding, it's going to give me the roadmap to navigate these universal laws. But to know how they operate gives me the ability to comprehend why things are, and understand how to move within this matrix, if you will. So throughout every move I make, and this is speaking from somebody who accessed lower versions of himself, right? Lower frequencies, low vibrations. It's almost like, okay, on the infinite multiverse, right? String theory style. There's an invisible string attaching me to all versions of myself. And the one I feed more into is a louder voice in my head. Let's talk conceptually. This may be the actuality. It makes sense to me. So the more I feed my higher self, which I'm drawn to by intuition, right? Which I pay through attention and time spent. Okay, you spend attention, pay attention, you pay attention and spend time. Pay attention and spend time. Where attention goes, energy flows. Attention and focus are equivalent, right? So, there's always an inner contest. Who can relate to that? I'm sure everyone can. However, the more I feed into the lower versions of myself, the louder that voice, or I'm drawn and pulled by a string, almost, in a way, and I'm attracting those type of situations, scenarios, and that reality starts to aggregate. And I'm gonna get into some shit with that. I got some notes right there. Deeper, to elaborate on these ideas, personal experience wise. Alright, but anyway, side note. Doing right by you equals right by the universe. Inverse, excuse me, I just noticed something. Okay, now that was unnecessary. I just noticed, but the idea is that the words have been altered and changed because words are like spells. The real magic in this reality is actually signs, symbols, words, sounds, things that enter your subconscious mind without you knowing it. So universe is you inverse, because the idea is everything is within, as within, so without, as above, so below, on earth as in heaven. And if I'm treating this correctly, with a high self-worth and self-love, leading with love and contributing and building and creating as a generator, operator, right? The universe will reflect the you inverse, the outside. The inside will reflect the outside. Or the outside will reflect, you know what I'm saying, both ways. I just need to check my notes on something real fast. Okay. Generator, operator, destroyer. That's a generator, operator, destroyer, okay? The outside is a reflection of the inside. Now, what brought me to these ideas today, okay, is that non-compliant shit don't fit. Alright, in previous lifetimes, within this lifetime, the choices I would make, the actions I would take, the things I would feel, the thoughts I would harbor, it's like they would be funneled into a downward spiral because they didn't coincide with any of the things that perpetuate my self-care, self-love, self-worth, ascension, transcendence, or inner tuition. Inner tuition. Inner tuition. Okay? So that shit didn't comply with the lower vibratory, the lower vibrational things. So they get pushed out and they just don't. And so it made perfect sense that, of course, life starts to take it starts to change up when those things are eliminated and new things are added on that perpetuate a higher self-worth. Obviously you want to eat healthy, obviously you want to treat your body right, obviously you want to have good associations with positive people, duh. But it's on a deeper level, right? For those who can't, for those who are a little slow like me, maybe for those who think that who used to just, I don't know what it was. I just let too much cloud this up here, right? So the most recent realization was like, yeah, if I start heading backwards towards things that from the past, from the other version of me, right? Of course, I will stop doing the things that are elevating me now. Non-compliant shit don't fit, depending on who the fuck I want to be, what I want to do. Who am I? Right. So non-compliant shit don't fit, but don't be fooled. And this, yes, that's the example with the addictive behaviors and choices and things that get done in addiction or in low vibrational states that are just lower versions of ourselves, right? Lower versions of me. Anytime I would start to elevate because I implemented things and removed things and added new things to my life that were work, or our work, right? But the benefits are like clear and apparent, and you can see them. They happen. It's working, right? Anytime I went backwards, those things get moved out, because whether it's sheerly, it doesn't matter. There's gonna be something, right? That doesn't, because when you do drugs for energy, for various reasons, there's drawbacks. There's always gonna be something that it takes up space from, so there's not enough space to work out, not enough space to eat healthy, not enough space to practice self-care, not enough space to be stable up here, whatever it is. Money, I don't know. Could be, because, there's always these exceptions to things where, oh, this person was so successful, yada, 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 they use this for that and that. But what was it that was still not allowing them to be the best version of themselves? Because that drug took up too much space, or that behavior took up too much space. So sticking with the things that do increase a person, they become easier over time, and they become like, it gets to be to where, why would I do those other things? That's where it does get to. Why would I? Because non-compliant shit don't fit. Straight up. So now, don't be fooled, right, by the physical illusion, because all things seen come from the unseen. All things seen come from the unseen. What you see, this is big. What you see, let's get this right. What you see comes from the unseen. What you see comes from the unseen. And it's easy to feel like this is what it is, but you don't even on the basic level of understanding like anatomy and how things work with the body, you don't see with your eyes. You don't see with your eyes. You don't see with your eyes. What's he talking about? What's this guy talking about over here? Shout out to the gorillas. Shout out to Del the Funky Homo Sapien on the gorillas. You don't see with your eye. Damn. You perceive with your mind. You don't see with your eyes. You perceive with your mind. You perceive with your mind. So that should let you know right there on a basic level. What you see is coming from the unseen. So don't be fooled by the five senses, the five elements, what else? The five emotions, the five main emotions, because you don't see with your eye, you perceive with your mind. Things coming down from the five levels of consciousness, five planes of existence, right? Let me put these up. So the last one, the one that finally crystallizes into what we can perceive with our mind, which is through sound, light, etc. Alright, so it starts like this. On the spiritual plane, comes down to the mental plane. Man, let's get this right over here. On the mental plane, to the astral plane, to the ether, to the physical plane finally. So entity comes down, right, through thought forms, into the dream world. Finally on the physical plane. This is the actuality of how things roll, and so don't be fooled. But here's the thing. This now we're going to talk about manifestation briefly, because this is the idea that lets me know I have made changes internally to shift, because my life shifted. Most definitely, 100%, without a doubt, undeniably. The shift takes place instantly once the internal shift happens. That's when things shift in life instantly, and you can feel it. So, you can know that life will, you can't fool, like you can't deceive the universal laws. They can't be broken or bent, right? This is just the way things are. So the physicality that you, if you're looking, don't look outside. Don't look outside. Okay? Look within. Don't look outside, look within. The shift within manifestation we can't change this world. I can't change, and thinking about all the things I would have to change to get to wherever is daunting. And it's almost, and waiting for some type of shift or looking for something almost puts a negative connotation on my desired reality manifestation if it never materializes. It's signaling, it's sending this mixed signal of doubt and basically that I'm not satisfied right now, because the only actual happiness can come from within, and the contentment and peace that comes from within, which reflects to the you in verse. So what I'm getting at is, it has to be embodied. And through, I think that through addiction and low vibrational states, the experience can be given of how quickly the shift can happen, right? Because if I'm simply trying to manifest a reality that's drug-free or free of the lifestyle of self-destruction, it's, in my experience, this is me speaking for me because I can only share with you how I'm saving myself. At times and currently, right, when I've made the shift from being reliant and dependent on substances, which has me on a different frequency, 100%. You can feel it, so it's a little more, it's a little less subtle than maybe someone who's not, or just dealing with themselves mentally. But having that type of issue, right, being on opiates, etc., etc., I'm on a different frequency, I'm operating a certain way, I'm doing all these things, reflecting a certain way, self-worth is at all these levels, all my moves, everything I'm doing, right? When I've gotten clean, I've felt such a shift, but I didn't know what to do with it. And that's on a basic, foundational, obvious level. Yeah, of course, you're sober versus high, but it's more than that. It's like, it's within. You could tell you're on a different timeline completely, but there's such a strong, the voice of the lower self is so strong at that point. It's like literally there's a voice trying to draw me back, okay? And it's like, of course, the desired reality may be unknown. For me, throughout the years, it had been unknown. Still is, to a certain extent, but the goal is to shift internally to a degree that I'm no longer dependent upon my desired reality materializing. I'm good with it, I'm good without it. And I can say, I can whatever, in court, whatever they say in court, you know, when they're there to, I'm basically here to testify that once the internal shift happens and you're transformed by the renewal of your mind, as this is my experience, you can feel a shift in the path, the direction, everything, right? Because it's most definitely possible, and it happens all the time, to go get clean, get sober, make a change, trying to make a change like that in behavior, right? But still be the same person and still have this experience, the same reality. Okay, this is what I'm getting at. An internal shift, because maybe it's so abrupt or so uncomfortable, right? But I couldn't go back to I would really have to purposely self-sabotage to a point of like doing things that just really, like I said, non-compliant shit don't fit. It just doesn't fit. So the shift has taken place for me. I'm going to continue to live in my desired reality, because as I embody that, it will reflect a state of delusional knowing, and the internal battle is the true battleground, because as above, so below. Hopefully you've heard that. If you haven't, you heard it now. As above, so below. On earth, as in heaven. Right? And let me block this one more time. On earth, as in heaven. As above, so below. Because the seen is only a product of the unseen. My name is Michael J. Turner. This is StereoPHX 888. Thank you for being you. I can't save you. I can only share with you how I'm saving myself. Peace.